Hello, hello, hello. I'm just going to share my screen here and we're going to get started. If any time you have any questions, you can always drop them right into the chat. I will be cycling it through every so often. We've got a lot of people watching on the replay. I know people are going to be coming in and out as they can, as schedule allows. Because you're live, we're going to workshop this together. So I'm going to make sure that you have everything that you need to, all the assets you need to launch your next workshop and feel really confident about it. So let me just pull up the slides here and we're going to get right to it. While I do that, you can let me know where you're chiming in from. Let me know. And also let me know what you're burning, like what you really want to focus on today in your workshop. Do you want to focus on the topic? Do you want to focus on messaging, how to fill the rooms, how to convert Washington, D.C. Hi, Danny. I love that. You're on the West Coast. I hope the heat isn't too much over there right now. Do you want to work on conversions to clients? What do you really want help with today? And I'll make sure that you get that taken care of. Share screen. I'm gonna put it on present mode. Okay. As I said, lots of people are going to be coming in as we continue on, and I have even more people watching on the replay to learn your six-figure lead generation system so you can get reliable clients and hit that 100K business. So here's what we're going to do today. We're going to go over why that's important. We'll do this briefly, and then we're going to go over the 5 steps that have actually created 2 six-figure businesses for me. And we're going to break down each step and workshop through each step. Again, this is a great point to get your own questions answered. And we'll also, as we wrap it up, go through additional questions. I have sprinkled in some case studies throughout the workshop, just so you can know that not only has it worked for 2 businesses for me, both in person and online, but it's also worked for many, many of my clients. A lot of these actually, all these case studies that I'm mentioning here are also on the podcast and on my website. So if you want to hear more details about their story, hear their stories from their words, their mouth, then you can either head to the podcast or the website and get more details following the workshop. And then for those of you who are here, I do have a special offer for continuing this work on. So if you're a wellness practitioner that feels like you're not really sure where to market, what to say, you feel like you're throwing spaghetti at the wall, where sometimes you're showing up on Instagram, sometimes you're showing up on an email list, sometimes you're doing networking events, and you're getting a trickle in of clients, but you don't feel it's reliable or predictable or consistent. This methodology today will help create reliability and consistency. If you're already doing workshops, but you're having trouble filling the rooms or converting to clients at the end, you're going to know what to do differently today, especially if you want to sell a high ticket offer off the back end. And again, we're going to go over what to say in marketing to both fill your rooms with workshops and convert on the back end. So if you want to bring in consistent clients, if you want to hit your 6-figure year, 10K months, you want to work with more people, but still have a time for personal life, this is the system that you can implement that is repeatable. So every time you do it, you get better, you get more refined, so you get more time efficient, and you bring in more money. So here are some common mistakes I see when it comes to workshops. Number 1 is that when you're marketing a workshop and or marketing your wellness program, whether it be in person or online, it's just generic messaging. You're saying feel better in your body, improve your health, improve your wellness, thrive, get more energy. To the audience, that all sounds like a nice thing to have, but it doesn't necessarily compel them. There isn't urgency for them to take action now. Because when it's a nice thing, people are like, oh, that sounds nice. I'll do it later. I'll sign up for her program later. I'll catch her next workshop. But right now, I need to urgently put out this active fire that I have for my health that's more important, because they have a specific problem or a specific struggle in their mind that is more important than this nice general thing. So we need to be specific in our messaging to compel our audience to take that next step forward. So I'm going to go over today on how to dial in on the specificity of your messaging, which will both get more people in your workshops, and it'll be people that know that you can help them with those specific problems, and they'll have a higher likelihood of converting into your paid program at the end. The other common mistake I see with workshops is that you just teach a workshop to teach a workshop, which is great, right? People love workshops, both people teaching the workshops and the students and attendees attending the workshops. And it's a nice thing too, because if you do paying workshops, like today was $15. When I taught workshops in the yoga studios, I would charge anywhere from $35 to $55 for 2 hours. I'll give my reasoning of why I've charged $15 today, and I'll give you some transparency and insight into the back end of my business and decision making, which will help with your own decisions. So you have the potential to make a few $100s, or even sometimes in a 2-hour workshop, I'd make $1,000 to $2,000, which is nothing to shake a stick at, right? That is good money. Yet you can, when you have a clear customer journey, or a funnel, as it's sometimes called, where you know the next step that you're going to take that workshop attendee on, where they're going to come, for example, into a high ticket wellness program, that's when your $1,000 to $2,000 day now can turn into a $10,000 day. So for example, if you have a $2,000 wellness program that you actually work one-to-one with people, either online or in person. So for example, if you sell a package of 12 and it's $2,000, and now you're getting consultations at the end of your workshop, and you're able to convert 5 of those consultations into a client at $2,000, that's when your workshop becomes that few $100 workshop to $10,000. And I'm going to show you the exact process to make that happen today. The other common mistake I see when it comes to workshops is that there is no clear, tangible result that someone is going to get following your workshop. Again, that goes along with the messaging, where it's too general, like come to my workshop and de-stress, come to my workshop for sound bowl healing, come to my workshop to feel better. There's no specific result at the end. So for example, today, you're going to get 5 steps to have all your assets in place to launch your 6-figure workshop system. It's very tangible. You know what you're going to get at the end of that. You're going to have a 6-figure workshop system by the end of today. So you want to make sure that you are having a tangible result, and we'll go over that today. We can troubleshoot it and workshop it together. Another mistake I see is that there is no call to action to that next step. And most of the time, that's only because you don't know the next step in your mind. You're just teaching a workshop to teach a workshop. You don't have that funnel. You don't have that map of your business to know what the next step is. So you're not promoting the next step in the workshop. And because of that, you're not getting consistent clients, you're not getting consistent consultations. And often what I see for the wellness practitioner at that point is that when they're not having that consistency of clients coming into their business, they think that, okay, I just need more certifications because people don't want to work with me because I'm not skilled enough. I need to learn this and this and this. So then you think it's more certifications that will solve the problem of bringing more clients in. And that's not the truth. I am a proponent for getting certifications. If you look behind me, I'll just duck down for a minute. You can see I have a whole wall of certifications behind me. And if you look up here, I have even more certifications up here. I'm going to show you my list of just, it's just the tip of the iceberg of all my certifications in just a moment. So I am a seeker. I love to learn, and I think you should continue learning and getting certifications. However, you have to be clear in your mind that certifications, what that gets you is practitioner skill knowledge, which helps with getting people results in your workshops and in your sessions and in your programs. It doesn't guarantee that clients will come. What guarantees that clients will come is business skills. And that's what we're learning today. The skills of marketing, the skills of message writing, the skills of that customer journey and helping people take the next step. So you need to have both. The certifications just don't guarantee the clients, but you want to keep them coming. Okay. So now we're going to go on to the next one. The problem with all these mistakes is when you're putting out a lot of energy, you're doing a lot of work, but you're not seeing consistent revenue coming in. You're not seeing consistent clients coming in. You feel fatigued, exhausted, faithless, like, am I cut out to be an entrepreneur? You start to lose hope. Am I in the right place? And you feel frustrated. And you know what this leads is to burnout as a wellness entrepreneur. And when you're burnt out, then you're not showing up in the energetic space as a wellness entrepreneur because you're not feeling well yourself. And your clients pick up on that. You can let me know in the chat, but I work with a lot of health practitioners. Some of you know my health story. So I work with acupuncturists. I go to my own yoga classes. I go to yoga workshops. I go to yoga therapy. I go to naturotherapy, like physical therapy. I work with a lot of healthcare practitioners, wellness practitioners, and I can tell when someone is burnt out. And you know what that makes me feel like my heart breaks for them. I don't want, if they're considering raising their prices, I'm going to think twice. If they're asking me to renew in a package, I'm going to think twice. Your energy impacts the results that you get in the room, whether it be a class, a workshop, or a session. So you do not want to be burnt out as a wellness provider. So that's what we're going to do today, right? When you create reliable clients coming in, you will feel energized and more hopeful. It's a whole different cycle. I see a couple chats here. Hi, Kim. Nice to meet you. And Kim says yes to this. So the problem is because you just don't have that system where it's reliable, predictable, and you get better at it. So you build your confidence. That's what we're learning today here. So the solution to have that reliable 6-figure lead generation system. Now, here is the cool thing. Now, all these pictures that you're seeing with the workshops are actually me teaching many of the workshops. I've been teaching workshops for over a decade now, 1 to sometimes 3 or 4 workshops, yoga teacher training around the world, around the nation, for over a decade. So that is a lot of rooms that I've filled, a lot of people that I worked with, and these are just some pictures of these examples. And this is the cool thing about being a wellness entrepreneur that's really different than any other industry. We actually get paid to market. As I said, when you do a paying workshop, if it's a 2-hour deal, I'll tell you the difference between how to decide be doing a free one or paid, online or in person. It doesn't matter. But we do have the opportunity to get paid to market. So many other industries have to pay Facebook ads, have to pay Google ads, Pinterest, whatever, all kinds of ad spend. I grew 2 6-figure plus businesses through organic marketing, getting paid to market, filling the rooms of workshops or teaching yoga classes, teaching yoga teacher trainings, again, around the world, getting paid to market and getting clients. I did not use ads at all. Now I do use ads. Some of you may come to this workshop through an ad, but I have the revenue now to do paid advertising because I'm making well over 6 figures. So you don't have to do paid advertising. You can actually get paid to market, which is super, super cool. And when you have that set up, as I mentioned, you have hope, you have consistency, you have cash flow. So that keeps you energized. It keeps you out of the burnout cycle. It keeps you going in your business, because when you're consistent and when you show up day after day with time off, right? I'm not saying overworking. I work less than 30 hours a week. I have my weekends off. I have my evenings off. Fridays, I take an early day. I just was on vacation last week. Actually, this month of July, I'm taking 2 weeks off. It's the consistency of showing up day after day within your working hours, month after month, that builds trust with your audience. And that is when you get momentum. But you can only show up consistently without burnout when you're filling your cup too. Okay, so we're going to go over terms here for what's going to be helpful for your marketing of your workshops and building your workshop system. If you have any questions so far, you can drop them in the chat. I'm going to be cycling through the chat every so often. I'm just going to grab some water here. Okay, so here are some terms that are a little bit different than what's in the average out there jargon in the industry, what you might see online. Marketing, what you're doing in workshops and marketing your workshop, is actually just getting your business, your name, out in front of more people. So when you're on Instagram, when you're at a networking event, when you're doing a vendor table event, if you're teaching a yoga class, that is all marketing, because you're introducing yourself and your business to new people. You're getting new eyes, new visibility. So people are becoming aware that your business, your services exist. Lead generation is actually turning some of those eyeballs that have just become aware of your business and services into your audience. So how does that happen? They either start following you on Facebook or Instagram, or they opt into your newsletter list, right? And this is where the nuancing of the terminology is a little bit different. Typically, in the marketing world, someone is not considered a new lead until they actually opt in to your email address. People typically don't consider new followers to any social media platform, whether it be YouTube, Pinterest, Facebook, Instagram. They don't consider new leads until they actually opt into your email list. And that is because your email list is your asset. People actually sell their email lists and they can generate hundreds of thousands of dollars for it. So typically that's why the verbiage as it is. However, in this instance, with your 6-figure lead generation system, I am actually considering new leads, any new followers that come into your world, whether it be your email list and or any other social media platform or any other way you grow an audience, they're considered a new lead. And that is because when you teach workshops, you can market your workshops to those new leads. And when you do that, then those new leads can fill the room and then they can come on your email list. So the way to really grow your audience is market, get more visible, grow your following on any platform, and then you have more people to market to fill your workshops. And selling is that next step, whether you're selling them into your workshop or selling them to that next step of working in your program, whatever your program may be, in person or online, or a one-to-many model, a group or on-demand program. Selling is the conversion of those leads, or just if they just come into your world, your audience, into a paying client in whatever format that you do. So just so you're clear on some of those terms here. And with all those steps, that is exactly what I do. I'm Allison McLean. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a business coach for wellness entrepreneurs. I specifically help wellness entrepreneurs grow a six-figure business. I help them transfer their skills in person, online, grow six-figure online businesses. I do have some brick and mortar businesses I work with as well. And most of my brick and mortar business have some component of an online program that they're either currently have running or that they wish to launch in the future. As I mentioned, I do have a bunch of certifications. I have my doctorate in physical therapy. My road in the wellness industry came 20 years prior, when I first got certified as a massage therapist and personal trainer in 2001. When it was actually the same week I turned 21, I graduated with my BS from Health and Exercise Science from University of Delaware, got my personal training certification and my massage therapy certification all at the same time. I was a little ambitious at the time, and just that started my wellness journey. I was practicing yoga at that time. That was my love. I never thought I would get a yoga teacher certification because truthfully, I'm an introvert. So if you're an introvert, you're shy, you don't like being the center of attention, so workshops feel a little scary, imposter syndrome comes up, I've got you. I've been there. I really was that wallflower, that shy person. It's funny, people from high school see me now and they're like, wow, like you talk. I'm like, yeah, I actually lead a lot of workshops and teacher trainings. So if you feel that way yourself, I'll help you through that. I'm also a certified change worker, life coach, and if you don't know, I have the Ignite Your Wellness Business podcast. So please give it a listen. But I also have other certifications not mentioned here, like I'm an NLP master trainer. I am Reiki certified as well. So I do have some other certifications that I wrap into one program. So I'm going to teach you how to do that as well. Some of you know that I had a brick and mortar physical therapy clinic. It was generated over six figures. I got diagnosed with two things at the same time back in 2017, which was rectal cancer and Lynch syndrome, which it's a genetic mutation that puts you at higher risk for cancer. And that really opened my eyes to the online world and learning how to de-risk my business. If I physically can't be present to help people. And that really changed everything. And that's how I got into the online world and helped to heal my burnout story. So using workshops is how I really generated momentum and got into the multiple six-figure mark as a wellness entrepreneur and as a coach online. So we're going to go through these 5 steps of putting this work into action now. Oh, Kim, you have a lot of certifications too. I love that. Fast, lean, strong. So what do you do exactly? I would love to know. How do you work with clients? Drop it in the chat. Okay, so we're going to go over the 5 steps. And because you are live, you get to workshop with me. I've helped, so again, you're going to hear some of the case studies, but I've helped so many of my clients launch their first workshops, refine workshops so they convert better. So you get to benefit from that knowledge today. All right, here's an overview of the steps if you want to do a screenshot of it. Actually, if you do a screenshot, I would love if you tag me on Instagram. I'll drop my handle. Oh, you're an introvert. Awesome. Yeah, so Kim, I'll help you through that. If imposter syndrome comes up today, just let me know. We can work through it. But if you want to tag me on Instagram, I'll give you a special IG audit for doing that. And maybe even another little surprise bonus as well. So tag me on Instagram. You can take a picture here. Let people know you're in the workshop. And we're going to go over these steps. Number 1 is you need a topic. Number 2, you got to fill the room. So we're going to go over marketing strategies. Number 3 is what do you teach? What do you teach if you're doing an hour? What do you teach if you're doing 2 hours? How do you teach in a way that converts to people coming into your program? We're going to go over the CTA. What does that look like? The call to action. And then how do you follow up? Okay. So step number 1, the topic. Here's how it's gonna flow. I'm gonna teach a little bit on each of those 5 steps. And then we're going to break it down true workshop style and do the work. So you actually have the assets by the end of today. So here's the overview of how to pick topics that actually help to fill the room, because your topic will help to fill the room. You are very welcome, Kim. Number one, you want a popular topic. So you see here, I'm doing a hip abduction type stretch there in a yoga workshop. This was, and you see they're all tied up with straps, which is just generating that will come into play in the sequencing portion. But this was a workshop for the low back. The reason why I picked yoga for the low back workshop was because it was a popular topic. How do I know? Because there's so many research studies on low back pain. I had a handful of topics that I would cycle through. And when we talked about the marketing section, I also collaborated with a handful of studios. So with those about 3 to 5 topics and 5 yoga studios, I was able to stay busy with 1 to 2 workshops a month, cycling through those topics and cycling through those workshop studios. And that's how I created consistency, because I always got clients off the end of my workshops. So it starts with knowing some popular topics, and we're going to break them down for you today. You also want to make sure that this topic is going to be a problem that people will pay for. I know that people will pay for low back health because, again, there's so many studies on it. There's so much research on how there's such high incidences of low back pain. If you're good, there's Google searches on it. There's many YouTubes on it. So you can research and see, oh, there are YouTube topics on this. Is there Google searches on this? In a moment, I'm going to show you how to use AI to help you with this. So you want to make sure it's a problem that they'll pay for, and you want to be specific and result oriented. So again, that tangible result. So a mistake I see people doing here is they're seeing the popular topic and they're saying, oh, well, it's saturated. There's too many wellness practitioners teaching on this topic already. I'm going to do something different. The problem with that is sometimes you either go too general, meaning people don't feel like it's a problem that they'll pay for, or it's not urgent enough. It's that nice thing. It's not solving an immediate need. Or it's too esoteric, meaning that it's too like, I will help you feel better. I will help you love yourself. It's too general. It's too esoteric. People think, oh, okay, I'll love myself when my back pain is not preventing me from getting out of bed, right? You see the difference? You want to have an urgent problem that people can fill an immediate need for. And you want it to be specific, result oriented. So people knew by the end of my workshops, they're going to have a reduction in low back pain. They're going to have a sequence of poses that will help to reduce their low back pain. It was tangible. Okay, so you want to think of, with that topic, what would someone Google search for? What would someone search for on YouTube? Sometimes that's helpful in creating your topic. You also want to consider it from your perspective. You do want it something that's going to light you up to teach, especially if you feel introverted and shy and have more of that imposter syndrome happening. You want to think of a topic that will light you up, that you feel confident in teaching, because when you feel confident in teaching it, you will market it more. You will market it more consistently. You will tell all your friends. You will tell your friends to tell their friends. You will get out there and just tell the world. If you're having imposter syndrome or you're shy about teaching a topic, then you'll be less inclined to market it, and you'll have a smaller room, a smaller turnout. So you do want a topic that you feel confident in and that will light you up. So let me know if, for anyone, if any hesitations or imposter syndromes or questions come up with that. while you're doing that, I am going to show you how to use AI and have a prompt that's helpful in researching topics that are specific and both solve, they're popular and solve an urgent need, because AI is doing the Google search for you. AI is combing YouTube for you. So I'm going to give you a prompt right now, so we can create some topics together. So let me see. Yes. Okay, so here is the AI prompt. Can someone let me know, can you see that prompt? I'll also drop it in the chat, and I'm going to talk you through it so you can use it right now for yourself. Okay, great, Kim, thank you. All right, I'm going to drop the prompt right here in the chat so you can copy and paste. Thank you. Okay, so here's how I personally use AI. And I actually just was on a call with one of my clients yesterday, and we did this for her to get workshop topics. So I'm going to plug in my information. You are going to actually, I'll give you, after I stop talking here and talk you through it, I'm going to give you a few minutes to do this yourself. But you're going to write down and pull up a Word document, copy and paste this to the Word document, and fill this in. So I would put, I am a business coach for wellness entrepreneurs that want to transition online and have a six-figure online wellness program. So try to be as detailed as possible. Write that. I am a health and weight loss coach. I am a yoga teacher to help reduce stress. I am a physical therapist for women's health to help reduce urinary leak problems. Write it down. Okay, and then you're going to say, I teach. So for me, I go, I teach mindset and strategy. I help wellness entrepreneurs create six-figure profitable wellness businesses online and in person. I help them differentiate themselves in saturated marketplaces. I help them create six-figure marketing frameworks. I help them create higher converting consultations. So write down some of the ways, some of your frameworks, some of the ways, or your personal values and philosophies of what you teach your people. You might need to think a little bit on this, but just write down what comes to mind right now. If you're stuck here, message in the chat. And then you're going to say your mission is to blank. So my mission is to help wellness entrepreneurs create profitable businesses that are fulfilling, they're passionate about, and also help to prevent burnout so that they have time to live their life, have a business they love, and have time for their own wellness practices. So what that is super important to me. It breaks my heart when I see wellness entrepreneurs overworking and not getting paid. So what is your mission? I'm giving you a little bit of time to write out your mission because you might need to think about my missing example again. Alyssa, can you say that again? Oh, my mission. Yes, my mission is to help wellness entrepreneurs get profitable without overworking, while having time, growing a business, while having time to live their life and have time for their own wellness practices. So your might be, my mission is to help stressed out moms be more present with their children and have time for their own self-care practices, for example, something like that. My mission is to help others lose weight without having to be on rigid diets. So what speaks to your heart? That is your mission. Yeah, no problem. Does that help, Alyssa? Okay, see it, thank you. Perfect. Okay, your target audience is, who is that ideal client that you love to work with? The client that gets the results the easiest, the clients that most naturally come to you. Just write that down as your target audience. I know some of these questions might be hard. Remember, we're just getting anything onto paper. AI can really help, but the more specific you are, the better the answers, the responses you will get when you drop it into the AI tool. But do your best here. So, for example, my target is wellness entrepreneurs that wish to transition their in-person skills online and grow a six-figure online business. So you can write down, my target audience is stressed out moms. My target audience is busy working professionals wishing to improve their health. My target audience is menopausal women. Write down your target audience. Okay, now here is the gold, right? This next sentence is specific to workshops, but just know that you can use this same prompt. I use it all the time when I write emails. So I'll show you how I do it first for the workshops, and then just know that you get a repeatable process now to help you create faster emails and Instagram posts, Facebook posts. So you're going to write, give me some workshop titles and topics speaking to blank. So for example, give me some workshop titles speaking to helping stressed out moms reduce their stress, be more present with their children, and find more happiness and joy. Since that's pretty generic, I would also put the disclaimer on there, or qualifier on there. Give me specific, tangible workshop ideas. Okay, so you want, because sometimes AI can give you very general workshop ideas, but we want specific, tangible workshop ideas. So you can tell AI, give me specific, tangible workshop ideas. Sometimes if they come too general, I'll even say include numbers or ratios or percentages, because that can help to get it more tangible. So how I use it with emails is I might say, I write an email first, because if I just tell it to write an email or a post, again, it's too general, too generic. So I will usually give, I do kind of a brain dump and do a loose email or Instagram caption or post. And I will say, edit this email or Instagram caption so that it is compelling, concise, and specific. Speak to the objection. I usually have an objection, the fear of marketing or imposter syndrome. Also speak to the desire of whatever a desire may be. Now that was next level. You can come back and watch that part on the replay, but you can use this tool for emails and posts. We'll come back to that when we get to marketing messaging. We'll play around with that a little bit more. I was just giving a little foreshadowing. For now, you can literally write, give me some workshop titles speaking to topics that you would love to teach on. And then you're going to copy and paste all of that. And right now, here are two AI tools that I use. ChatGPT, I do use the paying version for that. I also have been really loving Gemini. You can just Google it, Gemini AI. It's through Google. And you have to use your personal Google account. For some reason, I'm not, and many of my clients, this happens too, I'm not able to get into Google AI through my business account. I have to use my personal account. But I'll tell you, Gemini AI sometimes blows ChatGPT in terms of workshop topics, specificity, and tangible out of the water. It just gives you a ton of workshop ideas right there with some great titles. And then you can do a matrix with them. So do that right now. Fill all this out, copy and paste, and drop it into chat ChatGPT or Google Gemini AI, because it really does a great job. And you're going to get some working topics, right, and titles that actually work and help with conversion right now. So do that, and I'm going to switch back to my presentation. And I'm also going to look at a comment I have here. Oh, you struggle with your mission statement. I'm passionate about intermittent fasting and have been practicing intermittent fasting for over 9 years. I don't have a certificate. Well, you just say you're, I would say that you're an expert in intermittent fasting because you've been doing it for 9 years. I don't think you have to say like, I don't have a certificate, or even you could call yourself a coach. It is an unregulated market, but you could also just say you're an expert in intermittent fasting for doing it yourself over 9 years. And especially if you work with clients on that. And so, yeah, your mission statement could be something like, I help, if you have a specific group of people that you help, it could be, I help working professionals lose weight through intermittent fasting, for example. That could be part of your mission statement. It could also be part of your target audience. Sometimes there's overlap there. Let me know if that's helpful. Okay, and then tell me what responses you guys got from AI. Did you guys get some topics from AI? Usually you'll get, especially through Gemini, a range of topics. And then what you can do is, like, if you have a header, you can take part of a top one title and match it. It becomes like a matrix where then you can create your own individualized headline topic that really speaks to you by mixing and matching what comes up. You're very welcome. Let me know if you guys got some topics there. I want to make sure you have topics that are both popular, specific, and with tangible results that you can help people with, because this is huge for helping to both fill the room and show your expertise. Great. You have topics that match very closely to my e-course that you're working on. Perfect. I love that. Okay, so we're going to go on to the next step now. Okay, so I'm going to tell you about my client, Marie. She had, when she first started working with me, she had just started her business. She was working in a spa, so she was working with clients there. She's a body worker. She's an aromatherapist. She has a wealth of certifications herself. She had never taught a workshop on her own. She had partnered with someone to teach a workshop, but she had never done a solo workshop. She was experiencing some of that imposter syndrome herself, and she was really unclear on how she could both set up the workshop and launch it on her own. So that's exactly what we did together. And she actually sold out. She set up, she had a collaboration with a yoga studio, just one. And I'm going to teach you how to do that in the marketing section coming up. So we worked on the collaboration with the yoga studio, and she set up a sequence of workshops. She's actually taught them back to back, which she sold out her first few and then realized having 4 workshops every other week, because she has a small audience, which is totally fine, it did burn out that list. So she realized, okay, just sticking to 1 to 2 workshops a month while she grew her audience allowed her to fill the rooms. But using the marketing plan I'm going to teach you in the next step, she was able to sell out her first few workshops, and then she was able to convert, and she got a handful of high ticket wellness clients following those workshops. So, and now she's going to repeat that same process that was in person online. That's her next phase, and she's going to do great. And she is actually in Sweden. So this process can work here if you're in the States. I have clients in Canada and she is in Sweden. So it works anywhere in the world. And she is in a very small town in Sweden too. So if you have a small email list, a small following on Instagram, and in a small town, it'll still work. Okay, so now we're going to talk about how to fill the workshop, your marketing. Before I move on, any questions on the topic? Okay, can you please reiterate how to best finish the last? Oh, yes. So I don't see your name there. I remember your picture though from Instagram, was it? Or are you from Amy's World? Your picture looks familiar to me. Okay, so you want me, Debbie from Momentum. Great. I remember now. I was gonna say Deborah. Okay, you want to tell AI, give me some workshop titles and topics speaking to whatever topic that you want to present on. So, oh, you're filming for your podcast. I love it. So Debbie, tell me about your ideal client. Who's your audience? Or what topics would you like to teach on? And then I can make it specific for you. But essentially, if you just give it, you can just start with a general topic. Like give me some workshop topics or titles to help with weight loss for professional adults looking to lose 20 pounds, for example. Then based upon the other information that you fed the AI tool in that prompt, it'll spit out more specific topics and titles. Okay. Let me read through this. I'm going to just read through it and then I'll summarize. You're a certified goal and mindset coach for neuroscience focus. I love that. My mission is to help guide overworked, burnout solopreneurs. Very specific. I love that. Okay, so you're more on the wellness side. Perfect. Okay, so I would just modify that last sentence a little bit. Debbie, what would you like to teach on in terms of a workshop topic? Just give it something to go. You can try that. Try putting it in exactly as it is and see what it spits out. And then try giving it some type of topic to maybe hone in on. So if you have okay, so maybe a topic, for example, would be give me a workshop title and topic speaking to helping the wellness or helping the solopreneur improve their wellness and prevent burnout. That's actually what, try that sentence and see if it spits you out more specific results. Try them both and see just what works better for you. That's what I would do. Let me know if you got that, understand that. Okay, perfect. Great. Okay, so step number 2, we're going to talk about the marketing. Now, this is based upon, again, how I filled all these rooms and both online and in person. So you want to market in all the places. You literally, now this does not mean overworking. You want to, I feel that when you're setting up your workshops, you want to give yourself at least 4 to 6 weeks of a runway. So that way you can show up marketing for 2 to 3 weeks in a sustainable way, as well as have another week to market your program after. And when you give yourself that ample space, that really helps you to prevent from overworking and hustling and feeling like there's too many things to do. So I've been doing workshops and marketing workshops for a long time. I still always give myself at least 2 weeks of marketing time. I love 3 to 4 weeks. I feel like it's luxurious, especially when I have 4 weeks. And if I get a few people to sign up in those first couple weeks, and then I know the next couple weeks is just gas to the fire. The downside of that is sometimes if you market too in advance and get people to sign up way, way in advance, like over a month, they sometimes lose that urgency and excitement for the workshop. So sometimes there is a sweet spot of marketing too early or not having enough time to market. I really feel like that 2 to 3 marketing window, for me anyways, you have to test it for your audience and for you and your schedule. For me, is that sweet spot of marketing time. And then again, I do about a week to 10 days marketing afterwards to market my program, both to the people that attended the workshop, as well as just my whole entire audience. And so when I market a workshop, I am just going to show up in all those places. And I make a marketing plan that fits in my ideal schedule. So for me, I already consistently show up on Instagram and Facebook, and I have my email list and my podcast. Those are my main marketing avenues. So I just transition my marketing from talking about my program to now alternating talking about my program and talking about my workshop. Those are the only two things I'm marketing when I have an event or a workshop taking place. And if you go to my Instagram or if you open my emails, you'll see I did just that. I'm either marketing my workshop or I'm marketing my one-to-one program. So you want to show up in your places. Now, if I go to networking events in person, I'll still mention my workshops. So for example, I'm here in San Diego. There's some wonderful networking opportunities for wellness entrepreneurs. So when I go to them, I often mention, hey, I have an online workshop coming up. You should attend it. I'll mention it everywhere. I'll tell friends. I'll tell just whoever comes into my world, new followers on Instagram. I actually send a personal message and tell them. Some of you were in Amy's presentation I did earlier this week. Brittany actually mentioned it for me there. I asked permission for Brittany. I go, hey, can I market my workshop? And they're like, Amy has a solid, Amy Porterfield we're talking about, has a solid no promotion rule for that style presentation I did. Totally fine. But Brittany said she would drop the link, which she did. And here I have a few people from that. So you really want to spread the word everywhere. Yes, that was amazing. Amy Porterfield's presentation was an incredible experience. Like that really was a dream come true. Okay, then you want to be specific in your messaging. As I mentioned earlier, that really is a common mistake. So we're going to break that down here in just a moment. And here's a key tip. When I first started off as a wellness practitioner, I had no audience. I had maybe an email list of less than 100 people. I had my Instagram following was not marketing towards the work I do. It was just yoga pictures and yoga shots, because that's what was done on Instagram back when it first started. And I didn't have any like referral partners or collaborations, but I built them. And that was key for me. So I'll tell you exactly how I did that. I went to the people that I did know. So for example, my mentor at the time had connections with yoga studios. And I first started teaching my workshop when I was actually an employee for her. This was over a decade ago. And I asked her to introduce me to the yoga studio owners. She introduced me to two. But it was up to me to present myself in a way that would get me the workshops. So she made the introduction. I had to do the work then to say, I can teach these workshops and here's what I will provide for your studio. It was those two collaborations with those yoga studios that had big lists. So they trusted me enough because of that connection, because of that meet, to put me on their workshop roster as a trial. They said, okay, I'll allow you to do one workshop. We will both market the workshop. If it goes well, then I'll allow you to do other workshops for the future. So I set up those two workshops with those studios, and because they have big lists, thousands of people, I was able, now my workshops, my first few workshops only had 3 people, 2 people, and 5 people, despite their list being thousands of people, because A, no one knew me, and B, I had a very small list. It was fine. I still did it. And people got rave reviews. They told the studio owners, you got to have Allison back. Because I asked them to. I go, if you like this, please tell the studio owner so I can come back and do more. And I did. With those 2 studios, I did more. And eventually they got to 10 people, 15 people, 20 people, 30 people, and so forth. When other studios saw me consistently marketing my workshops for other studios, both my audience was starting to grow at that time on Instagram and through my email list. Other studios, I could reach out to other studios now and say, hey, I've taught these workshops at these studios. Are you interested in having me? And they said yes. And that's how I built the roster of 5 to 6 studios, which was enough when I had 3 to 5 topics I was teaching on to just cycle through the year, which eventually led to me teaching for their yoga teacher trainings, which eventually led me to teaching my own yoga teacher trainings in studios literally across the world. So it starts with the connections that you have now. And if you feel like I don't have connections, start going to networking events online or in person. It is so easy to start making connections think outside the box. Some of my clients you'll hear coming up, or go listen to them on the podcast, they partnered with CrossFit gyms, Pilates studios, YMCAs, art studios. Just think about where that ideal client is and then ask. It's how I got Amy Porterfield's presentation. I've been part of her world for a while, and I just asked, and they said yes, to my surprise. But you don't know what's available to you until you make the pitch. You just need to ask. Let me see what questions I got. Okay, what did you provide them with? What did I offer initially? I did the work for the studio. I would say I am because this is what I say. I am an expert in low back health. I'm a physical therapist, yoga teacher, da 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 da. You can just say whatever it is. I am an expert in intermittent fasting. I would like to teach a workshop for your studio on this topic, and then give them some bullets on what you'll teach on. I will help to market. Would you be interested in a collaboration? So I would lay out the groundwork for them. You know what irks me and in studio owners or anyone that owns a facility is someone says, can I do a collaboration with you? And there's no groundwork. It's a no for me because I am so busy. I don't have the energy and capacity to think of that myself. So when I pitched Amy Porterfield, I said, hey, I noticed that there's a lot of service-based providers in your Momentum membership. A lot of them are asking how to be successful with a course and a small audience as a service-based provider looking to transition online. I go, I did that successfully. I have a multiple 6-figure business doing that. In fact, 2 of them. I will teach on that very topic. Here are the bullets that I will teach in my presentation. I laid it out for them crystal clear. And it was a yes for them. If you do it that way, where you lay out the work for them, it becomes an easy yes. So that is exactly how I did it. Okay, so this is a great question, Debbie. Do you expect financial compensation or is it a benefit for their clients? So there's many ways to do this. I have a little bit more about this in the sequencing when how to differentiate between doing an hour free, like webinar style versus a 2-hour paying style. But let me give you the breakdown in terms of the collaboration side right now. So when I collaborated with a studio, it was often a commission split. And my commission splits were anywhere from 40 to 60%, meaning I got 60%, they got 40, 50% split, or even when I got more experience doing workshops and had filled rooms, I would get 70% commission split, which is a little bit more rare. But new studios, when you have a bigger following and can fill a room, will go for that because it'll help them build their studio following. I actually got 70% commission. Studios would get 30% commission. And then, for example, this one right here, I actually paid rent. Marie, my client right before, she paid rent. And for me and Marie, it was the same. It was $25 an hour. So I would pay a studio. I usually blocked it off and paid for 3 hour for setup and cleanup afterwards, a 3 hour, so $75. And I would just make sure that I would break even. So I'd make sure that I would charge, if I was charging like $30, that I would get a handful of students and I would break even. I was happy with that. So that is how the studio gets benefit of you doing that because you are, if you're doing a 50% commission split, for example, they will get some revenue. If you get, so when I taught for some studios and I got 20 to 30 people in there, I would make over $1,000. The studio is also making over $1,000. So they will get some revenue from that. But most importantly, students love workshops. So it's a great nurture and build community builder for their studio. They just love that. It gets people coming to their classes more, their events more. It keeps them active in their studio. So that is part of the benefit. The other part of the benefit is when you start growing your audience, you'll bring new people into their studio. So when my audience got bigger, I was always bringing new students to those studios, and they loved that. So it was a very win-win situation. Amy Porterfield, the benefit of that, there was no monetary exchange either way, but I got exposure and visibility. I got to fulfill a dream for teaching for someone I considered a guru. I had been following a long time, and then Amy got the benefit of me showing how it's possible to create success with her very program. Okay, so that is how I used collaborations and then the monetary side. So either commission or pay for the room. Yeah, pay for the room is a little bit more risky. Often when you pay for the room, you're doing your own marketing. The studio is often like hands off. So that is more beneficial when you do have an audience and you've gotten more practiced in filling the rooms. However, Marie did it with a small audience, never teaching workshops before. That is just what the studio's pay structure was. So she took it. And so she could have been out. Yeah, she could have been out a little bit more money if she didn't fill her room, but she did. She sold it out and she got clients from it. So it worked out. I believe that even if I were to lose money in a workshop, but I get clients on the back end of that, even if it's not immediate clients, the clients come in 6 months or a year. Sometimes it takes people to come. It's totally worth it. Plus, the more you do it, again, you're showing yourself to be consistent in the marketplace, and it allows you to build relationships with other studios. So there's so much benefit to doing it. Yeah, skin in the game for both sides. Yeah, with the commission split, it's often both sides will market at that. With commissions, both sides market. And that's how you have, if you have a small audience, you're just starting out, that's often the best way to go. Okay, so let me see if, okay, we talked a little bit about this. The last one that we didn't talk about here is how will they sign up for the workshop? So if it's a commission space, when I partnered with yoga studios that was commission based, often the yoga studio would set up the registration page. And then they would just give me the link and I would promote the link in my email and on Instagram, wherever I was marketing. If you are paying rent or like I'm doing here, doing your own solo workshop, you will either, there's two ways to go about it, need to set up your own registration page and have kind of a funnel text system in the background. If you have that set up, often email software providers have the ability now to do landing pages, or Kajabi has the ability to do landing pages, and then it connects to an email where they can get a welcome email. Or I have many clients like Marie that are just starting out and don't have that email system set up yet. All you do is say, direct message me or DM me or reply to this email to get registered for the workshop. And then you just have them Venmo you or Stripe, send them a Stripe link, have them pay, and then you just send out personally message them the link for the workshop. So you don't need a registration page. Over time, as you get more proficient in tech, you can do a registration page. But you want to think about, and if you're collaborating, make sure you know who's doing the registration page setup, and you want to get that set up as soon as possible because you want to start marketing as soon as possible. I start marketing and create the sequence framework at the same time. A common mistake is people say, oh, I'll set up the registration page, I'll do the marketing after I create the sequence. But if you notice, step 2 is filling the workshop, then it's the sequencing. If you wait too long and do the sequencing, you're not going to have enough time to market the workshop. So you want to get that registration page. In some studios, you have to be on, like, hey, I need the registration page. You got to just be a bug in their ear till they set it up. And truthfully, I've worked with flaky studios. When you do workshops over time, you'll get those consistent, reliable studios that it's a good mutual partnership that you do it again and again with. But sometimes you have to work through some flaky studios first. You want to try to set that up as soon as possible. If you're really nervous marketing a workshop that you don't know the sequence for, we're going to do this in a moment, is you just create the framework of your sequence, the outline of your sequence, so you have a general idea of what you're teaching on, and then get right to the marketing. Kim, my first online workshops were free. I did, so I'll just go over it now. The difference between a 1 hour online or a 1 hour online or in-person workshop that's free, that's more webinar style, versus a 2 hour paying one is the 1 hour free one is a great way to grow your audience because it's less risky, right? It's a less of investment where all they have to do is give you an email address and show up. They invest their time. That is the investment, right? Versus a 2 hour paying deal is more skin in the game for the attendee. So I use it more of a nurture. So if, for example, the all of this year, so we're in July, so for the last 7 months, I've been doing a lot of free 1 hour workshops, and I've grown my email list and my Instagram following by hundreds of people. And I have gotten clients and converted clients, but out of hundreds of people, I want to convert more, obviously. So one way to do that is to have them take that next step of that low ticket investment so they know, like, and trust me more. So then they're more likely to convert to that higher ticket offer is what I have. So a 2 hour paying one is less about growing the audience and more of nurturing your current audience. So that's how you can kind of differentiate of, do you want to grow your audience or do you want to nurture your audience? Unless you're collaborating with the studio like I did that has a big email list, that then the 2 hour paying one can be a great way to grow your, do both at the same time. I have had some clients that have done 1 hour free ones in a yoga studio. So then it's been more of a growth one. I've also have clients like Marie that have done 2 hour paying ones right off the bat. So sometimes it just depends on what the studio wants as well. Okay, so we're getting so much to talk about. Okay, I want to go over message specificity, and then we're going to go into sequencing because that's big too. I want to make sure I leave time for sequencing. So the specificity, you can use that same IG prompt. Again, you're just going to switch out that last sentence instead of telling AI to create workshop titles. Now you're going to say, create me an Instagram caption or edit this Instagram caption speaking to a specific problem. So you want to tell it what it needs, the specificity of where you go. So what I teach my clients when we work together, either in my one-to-one program or in my mastermind, is the 100K marketing framework. I actually have a pillar that I teach them that's this 5S strategy. So I'm going to go over what that means so you can bring it into your marketing messages now. So number one is talking about the successes. So that is your client's ideal client's desires. So if you're doing intermittent fasting, so what does your client want intermittent fasting for? They want to lose weight. Why do they want to lose weight? They want to feel more confident in their body, slide on their skinny jeans. They want to walk into their closet and not cry, instead feel happy and joyous and excited about the clothes they get to put on. So you want to speak to those specific day-to-day scenarios that what coming to your workshop, the information that they'll learn, what it'll help them with. So for example, for you guys, you want workshops, a 6-figure workshop strategy so that you can get more consultations and convert more clients. So you have to take it a couple layers deep. And that is what you want to write your messaging towards. Now, you might come up with a whole bunch of different successes that clients want to achieve working with you. Each message or each email will speak to one success or one struggle, pain points, one problem that they have. And when you pick just one, you're going to be very specific and you're going to speak to that person. So for example, if you do intermittent fasting, you could say, if you're tired of walking into your closet and breaking down crying and spending hours trying to find a pair of clothes just for a girls' night out and having fun with your friends, then come to my 2-hour workshop where I'll teach you intermittent fasting strategies, so you know exactly what to eat and how to plan your day, so you can fit into your skinny jeans, and instead of having blotchy eyes when you go out to dinner with your friends, you know exactly what to eat and you rock your skinny jeans. For example, I'm speaking to one specific desire that they want and one specific struggle. Perfect. I would share that story. For Debbie, you could say, come to my workshop on healing burnout as a solopreneur, so you have more energy and focus in your day to day to get more done, so you bringing in more clients, right? Ultimately, the goal for a lot of entrepreneurs is to get more clients, bring in more revenue. So you want to speak to that, but speak to specific desires that they, if that's the desire, you also want to speak to some struggles. And it's being as specific as possible in each message. Other marketing topics that you can teach on is solutions that you offer. For example, Kim teaches about intermittent fasting. Alyssa helps people with back pain. You can speak to specific frameworks or strategies or processes that you teach on. And you don't have to give the how-to steps of the process, but like I just say, I teach my clients the 100K marketing framework. So I could say in my workshop system, in my workshop, I will give you some information on a 100K marketing framework. So you can give some sneak peeks of what you'll be teaching in your workshop, or some processes that you'll be highlighting in your workshop. That's the third and fourth S. And then the fifth S is the structure. That is your own personal philosophies, soapboxes, your mission statement that we went over in the IG prompt. Those are what's going to help differentiate you from other providers doing similar work. So for example, when I was a wellness practitioner, I was a physical therapist, yoga teacher, and massage therapist coach. So I differentiated myself because I said, come to my workshop on to heal your low back. You're going to learn not only exercises for your low back specifically, but also we're going to work with your whole person. You're going to know how reducing tension and stress is actually exacerbating your low back. You're going to learn how to calm your nervous system and feel more relaxed in your day to day, which will actually help to reduce your low back pain so you can get out there and get to your favorite yoga classes. So I would say that, and it would differentiate me from all the other providers also teaching workshops on low back pain, that maybe we're just talking about the physical body or just teaching plank pose and core exercises. I was saying, yes, come, you're going to get the core exercises and you're going to get this other stuff because I'm different in this way where I have a holistic approach. So think for a moment right now and consider these 5 S's. And then I want you to write one example, and you can use the AI tool to help, one example topic, email or post that you might send speaking to one of these 5 S's, just so you can rip off the Band-Aid and see what questions come up so I can help you right now. So I'll give you a moment to think about it. And if you get stuck, just use the chat. And just know that messaging, copywriting, all this work you can bring on your registration page. If you have it, it will really help to inform how to write a compelling registration page. Also, it's an evolution. All of this comes in time. The more that you practice putting more emails out, Instagram posts out, the more that they'll convert over time. Okay, let me know if you get stuck here. I'll give you another minute. I'm also going to tell Christina's story. So when Christina came to me, she's a physical therapist. She had a mobile she would drive around to people's homes. So she had a mobile physical therapy practice. She specialized in women's health, and she really wanted to stop driving around. She had only 1 or 2 patients at the time. She was just starting out. She really wanted to stop driving around because San Diego, we have a lot of traffic. And she wanted to build an online portion. She was really stressed out about making enough revenue, and she was hustling a lot, and she had no reliable marketing plan. So we created her workshop system. Now she went out there and used that collaboration method and set up. She batched out a bunch of emails. She had no context, so she just sent out a bunch of emails using that process that I highlighted before. Um, Talking about workshop topics and giving the bullet points on what she would teach to a lot of studios, Pilates studios, CrossFit studios, YMCAs, just anywhere in San Diego. She sent out a ton of emails. She didn't know anyone. They were all cold pitches, and she got a bunch of yeses. And that's how it started for her. And her and I worked on that whole marketing plan that we just went through, and she filled her workshops, and she got fully booked in her practice with 15 patients or more a week in less than 3 months doing this. And she had enough people where she opened her own brick and mortar practice. And the most important thing is she's a single mom. She had a ton of time to hang out with her daughter and get back into. When she came to me, she was hustling so much. She wasn't working out. She wasn't going to the CrossFit gyms. She got back to paddleboarding, taking vacations, and rock climbing. So it is totally possible to do all this in a very realistic time schedule. She does have an amazing story. But I also have many clients that have booked their practices. My client, Emily, she's on the podcast. She did it as well. She moved to a brand new town and got fully booked in 3 to 4 months using workshops. And also she did a lot of networking. She loves networking with people, just establishing those networking connections. We worked on that for her. Okay, so we're gonna move into the sequence sectioning. If you're stuck on messaging, this is really what I help clients a lot with. We work on messaging together. Just message me if you're stuck. Okay, sequencing. This is what everyone loves, and sequencing of your workshops is important. And it will differentiate a little bit if you're doing a free workshop versus a paying workshop. Okay, so number one, you want to teach something that is different than what they can Google and find on YouTube. There might be some overlap, right, in the steps that you're teaching, but you want to make sure it's memorable. As you saw in some of the pictures before, like I literally have people using straps in all these different ways. If it was a studio that had a yoga wall, we would use the yoga wall. That's also how I was able to fill future workshops, was that people, they just got silly in my workshops. They had so much fun. They'd be like, I never used straps this way. I never hung out on a yoga wall. You had me feeling like a bat. And they would tell their friends, like, you got to come to Allison workshops. You're going to remember them forever. And that, people spreading the word for me, helped with future workshops as well. So when you're thinking of your sequencing, you want to think of using all your certifications. How can it be different? How can it be memorable? How can it speak to that mission statement of what's important to you? That you want to bring all of that into your sequencing. So when I taught my sequencing, for example, I would use all my certifications. As I mentioned, I differentiated myself by saying, we don't just address the low back, we work with the whole person. We work with the mindset. We work with the nervous system. So I would sequence with that way. I would start with some calming restorative yoga postures to calm the nervous system. I would move then into some breath work, some mindset, some coaching work while their nervous systems were downregulated. Then we moved into some yoga-based postures using those straps that were memorable. Then we moved into some traditional physical therapy techniques and got their core working and fired up and challenged their strength and built their strength while improving their mobility. And then we closed it up and winded it down. So I took them through an experience, a journey. Usually was a very unique sequence. And when you do this, you position yourself as the expert, where you don't have to pitch a ton at the end. Well, when I go through the call to action and when I first started, because I was that shy introvert, I literally just said, like, hey, if you're interested in working with me at the end of this workshop, I do have a one-to-one program. Come talk with me. Or if it was online, use this link to book your consultation call. And people would come up to me after the workshop. Sometimes I was so scared in the beginning, I wouldn't even say that. And people would come up to me after the workshop and be like, Allison, I've been to other physical therapists. I've been to other chiropractors. No one's told me this the way that you just said. I've never been told about my nervous system. I've never been told about my mindset. I need to work with you. How do I do that? And I say, oh, okay, let's just book a consult. And I book a consult right there, and that would lead to a client. So how you sequence prepares them for that next step of working with you. You want to highlight your expertise and show them how you're different. Okay, Kim, tell me where you're stuck. I'll come back around to you. You can just write it here, how you're stuck in messaging. It's really common with messaging to kind of feel overwhelmed. That's why I really break it down with people and work a lot one-to-one with people on that. So just message me where you're stuck. So with your sequencing, if you're doing a 1 hour free webinar style, you're giving more of an overview of the processes that you might teach. So for example, I have the 100K blueprint, which I teach. It's a free masterclass I teach. And what I do is tell them the steps that are needed to hit 100K. So for example, in Amy Porterfield's presentation, I did more of an overview. It was a free thing. I said, you need these 3 steps. You need your offer, you need the workshops, and you need consultations. I went a little bit deeper in Amy Porterfield's presentation to the how, because of the style of presentation that Amy was really wanting. If I were teaching that very presentation on my own for free, I wouldn't have gone into as much of the how step process in that presentation. I would give in more before and after scenarios of, here's the steps, here's what happens when you're not doing the steps, here's what happens when you are doing the steps, and here's the overview of the process. So I would keep it very surface level if it were free. Now, this is a 2 hour, and for some people, I had to make it free for Amy's people because that was part of the rules, and it was special for Amy's people. But a lot of people, especially people watching this on the replay, paid $15 to be in this workshop. So it was a paying workshop. As you can see here, I'm going a lot into the how. I'm actually giving you tangible strategies because you paid me. But workshop systems is just one part of the process that I work on people with, right? I also work on messaging. I also work on clarifying their offer. I also work on going into consultations and what's going wrong there. I work a lot on mindset, shifting energy, schedule management, preventing burnout. So I still have a lot more to give to people, where I can give you guys here all my best stuff about workshops. And you can see even here, there's a lot more work I can do, right? We can go deeper into personalized individualist sequencing. I can go a lot more into messaging, right? So you can still, in a paying workshop, show your expertise, give them some tangible things that they can take away and implement now and get wins on. And there's still more. And that helps to seed your offer just naturally. As you notice what I'm doing here as well, I don't know why my picture's not showing, but as you notice what I'm doing here as well is I'm seeding my offer. You have heard me several times talk about my one-to-one program. You're seeing clients that I worked with, success stories. All of that goes into seeding your offer. So you are preparing those that do want to work with you more or are appropriate to work with you more, will take that next step and book a consult. Not everyone, because that's just normal, but those that are ready and looking for you will. So that's how you're sequencing in both giving them wins for free versus paying, highlighting your expertise, utilizing all your certifications, being memorable, which will again help to fill future workshops and have them coming back for more. I have many people that repeat my workshops over and over again. And then you're also seeding that next step. So think about this for a minute. I'm going to go into the chat and see what I got here. Okay, Alyssa, so good to see you. Yeah, you can finish watching this on the replay. You're very welcome, Debbie. Okay, so Kim said she thinks her ICEA is too broad. I don't feel like I have a clear message to one person. Okay, I love this because this is so common. So, Kim, you can work with a variety of people with intermittent fasting. You can be broad. In fact, I teach my clients that there's not just one client avatar. Often they have 5 client avatars. But what you want to be specific with is in each individual message. So each individual post or email, you're going to be speaking to one of those client avatars. So for example, one post, you might speak to the working professional that might want to lose weight. And another post, you might want to speak to that stressed out, overwhelmed mom that has a lot of weight to lose. And another post, you might want to speak to that fitness buff that is already kind of knowledgeable in intermittent fasting and working out, but just needs refinement. So you see how you have different avatars, they're very different people, but each message you're speaking to one person. That's how you can be specific when you still have a broad audience. Let me know if that helps. And then I want you guys to think of your sequencing right now. So you have the topics that you got from AI or yourself, and pick one of the topics that maybe you would want to teach your next workshop on, and start to just create a framework right now of a potential sequence. And then you can message in the chat if you get stuck too. And I'll give you a moment to think, and then I'll tell you about Lynn. So Lynn is a physical therapist. She's in Pensacola, Florida. And she is a running expert. She helps her patients run for life. And at the time when she came to me, she was getting patients, but they were only buying one-off sessions. So she was in a hustle mode. Her consultation conversions were very low. She was offering at the time run form clinics free. That was her workshop. It was free 1 hour running form clinics, and she offered them once a month. She wasn't getting a conversion to consultations. And then when she was getting consultations, they weren't converting well. So we both refined what she was doing, her sequencing in the run form clinics. We also worked on her consultations. Doing that, she hit her first 100K year just last year. We both got her more consultations. She gets consultations now like fireworks. They just come super consistently.
She also went from selling one-off sessions to getting confident selling packages of 3, then packages of 6. Now, just yesterday we talked, she sells packages of 12 like hotcakes, super consistent at selling packages of 12 for $2,000. So that is how she hit her 100K a year. And again, she has a family, so she doesn't overwork. She has her repeatable process. So for Lynn, it wasn't like she went from one-off sessions to packages of 12 right off the bat. We phased it, which for a lot of people makes it very biteable. And again, if you see that QR code, if you're like, okay, I think I need your help, you can just hold your phone up to that QR code and you can book your consult right now with me. And we can talk about this individually for you, especially if you're watching on the replay and are missing these opportunities for the individual chat that we got going on. Kim, I'm so glad you found that helpful. Yeah, Debbie, it's one of the most common things when people first start working with me that blows their mind. They're like, oh, I can stay broad. I'm like, yes, sometimes we waste so much time trying to pigeonhole ourselves into that narrow niche. I say, here's my personal philosophy, stay broad until the niche presents itself, because you can work with a variety of people in your expertise. And often you'll find over time that the niche presents itself in terms of the clients that you just naturally attract, or the ones that get the results the easiest, or the ones that you just love to work with. The more people you work with, they come to the surface and then the niche picks itself. It happened for me and it happened for a lot of my clients. So you can stay broad, but then you're just specific in your messaging of speaking to one person each email or post. And in that way, you can be very specific and still broad in your niche. And often for a lot of people, that's super helpful. Okay. All right. So any questions on sequencing? Because then we're going to move on to the CTA, which is often people are like, oh, I hate the CTA, the call to action at the end. We are doing good on time. Yeah, good. I'm glad you found that helpful. So before I move on to CTA, just let me know if you have any questions on the sequencing. That's often the very fun part where we want to spend a lot of time. And of course, spend time on it because you do want to give people wins. You do want them to leave feeling like they have tangible strategies, they have insights, they feel better, they make some change, transformations. You do want them to have that. And you want them wanting more. So they are taking those next steps as well for the appropriate people. And you don't want to spend so much time on sequencing that you're not marketing to. So there is an art, there is a balance. Okay, let me see. Anything here? Okay, so we're going to talk about the call to action. So as I said, when you do your sequencing well, especially in the beginning, you don't have to do large pitches at the end. Today, I'm going to go through a more formal pitch. A, so you can learn more about my program and hear more about my special offer I have for you. B, so you can see what that's like as well. In the beginning, I did not have this formal pitch at the end. I literally sometimes said nothing, and people would come to me afterwards and being like, Allison, I have to work with you because I seeded well in the workshop and sequenced well. Then I got a little bit more confident and I would say, hey, I have a program, come work with me. Literally, that's all you have to say. Book a consult here. If you're in person, I would actually give them a moment to pull out their phones and book a consult with me, or I would make sure that I wouldn't rush off to the next thing on my day. I would stay at a workshop in the studio. That's why I paid for that extra hour. So I would have time to talk with people after the workshop and actually schedule them there. Schedule them there. Those interested parties, pull out your phone, schedule them. I had a line of people often waiting to schedule the consult in the workshop. Yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, you might feel a little rushed, but it's so worth it because often if they go home Life happens. They're hit by their kids, they're hit by their job, they're hit by their boss, their husband, their own health issues. They're going to forget about it or get distracted. If they want to schedule with you, do it right there. That's the biggest thing I can tell you, so that you can get people in your books. Just do it in Google. If you don't have a scheduling app, if you do it direct to Acuity, just do it there. If it's online, give them a moment to schedule it online. As you see, I have the QR codes right in, throughout this workshop. I also am going to embed it in my pitch at the end. So give them the opportunity to schedule the consultation. And as you know, part of my process is going to a high ticket program, especially for a small audience. If you do have a low ticket offer, you might be able to send them direct to a registration page if you're skilled at doing that. If you know that the copy on that registration or that sales page is good at converting, you might be able to send them, if it's like $300 or less, you might be able to send them to that next step, to a sales page. But often I find for the majority of people, myself included, and I mean, I make a lot of money. I have friends that make multi-million dollars a year. They're still doing sales call. Again, it's worth it when you're closing those thousands of dollars programs and giving people the courage to take that next step. Because as I highlighted in Amy Porterfield's presentation, it's normal for people to have fears, hesitations, objections about working with you, because often, you know, some people have had bad experiences, or maybe you're still a stranger on the internet, or this is the first time they're getting to know you. Give them the opportunity to get to know you better by scheduling that consultation. Yes, do it while they're under the ether. I love that. Just make it easy for them too. So you want to be your call to action clear, direct, short, succinct, and easy. So again, make it easy for them by scheduling it now or having that QR code accessible. So just write down right now the 1 or 2 sentences you'll say at the end of your next workshop. And again, if you're stuck, just throw it in the chat and I can help you. Or if you're feeling hesitant about it, let me know. We can work through the mindset on that. And then while you're doing that, I'll talk about Julie. Some of you heard about Julie yesterday, but I love talking about Julie and the call to action because she really hated selling, really hated selling. But she had a wealth for being in doing what she does. She's a spiritual coach of 17 years, having her own business for 17 years. She can help people. She had a wealth of information. She just did not like selling. And so because of that, she was stuck at 2 to 4K revenue months. She had tried it all, live launching, ads, organic marketing. She had so many different offers. So what we did was streamline her workshop system process. We streamlined her offer. We got her confident in just saying one line at the end of her events. And she went from 2 to 4K months to 10K months, working a lot less hours. And that was huge for her because she's going to retire in a couple of years. Like, we're still friends now. In fact, she helps me. I went through last year, my brother passed away unexpectedly. And because she's a spiritual coach, she's helping me through that. And I just love that. So she's living her best life now. And it's awesome to see the progress on the other side. Thank you. Yeah, that it was really hard the first year, but now I worked with, at the time I had a trauma coach because I have some trauma from my youth, and Julie, and that really, working with my people really helped me through it. Okay, so step number 5, the follow-up. Here is another area where a lot of people get stuck because they're very hesitant to bother their people. Let me tell you this. When you follow up by sending an email or a personal message afterwards, you're actually helping your people, because there's different categories of people that come to your workshop. There's those people that are ready to work with you right away and they're going to schedule a consultation. There's also, you know, on the other side of it, those people that are like, okay, maybe I'll work with her at some point, but I'm good for now for a while. Then there's the people that want to work with you, but they're not quite ready to work with, they're not quite ready today to book the call today. In their brain, they're like, let me just integrate, let me digest. I'm going to book the call tomorrow or next week. So there's those in between middle group of people. The follow-up is both for them. It might also help the people that think that they're going to work with you 6 months or a year down the road, understand the benefits of working with you now. It'll also help the people that did book a consult know that it'll confirm their decision, that they made the right decision to book the consult. By just sending them one email, you can send more. That's great. But if you send them 1 to 2 emails with the link, or just saying hit reply to schedule your consultation, it makes it easy for them so they don't have to hunt you down when they're ready. People are busy, and when they have a problem, they don't want to research providers. They want to go with practitioners that they trust or at least know or have some familiarity with. When you send the follow-up email, you make it easy for them to just take that next step to work with you through your invitation. It's not bothering them, it's helping them. And I want you to remember that when your brain wants to tell you something different, because it will, because you have a human brain. We all have human brains that will want to say, I don't want to bother people. Who am I to be sending these emails, right? You got to remember and redirect your brain and say, this is helping people. It's making their lives easier by making it easy for them to get help. Okay? So please, please, please remember that. And just, if you don't have an email system, personally send them an email. That's what I did in the beginning. I had a clipboard at the workshop where I would get the emails. That's how I built my list. And then I would follow up with the people individually afterwards and say, you know, a simple email, and we can write it right now. Thank you so much for coming. You learned this and this and this. I would do a recap. I just want to remind you that I have a one-to-one program where we go over this and this and this. If you're interested in working more with me, just hit reply to the email or use the link. If you don't have a link, that's fine. Do Acuity or Calendly. Just tell them to hit reply to the email and you can schedule them personally. That's it. It's all you need. Over time, if you want to send more emails, you can. You're going to get my email sequence, which is a lot of emails. Just remember, it took me years to get to this point. Don't compare where you are now to where I am now. Some other example emails that I include are client stories and testimonials. Examples of what people will get working with me. I overcome objections in emails. I talk about different problems I solve in emails. I talk about my own story in emails. There's many different types of emails that you can send, but the most important one is that first one. And then if you want to send another one, speaking to fears or problems that you solve or sending a client story, you can. But think about or write that email that you're going to send following the workshop right now so you have it ready to go. I'm going to give you a moment, and if you get stuck with that, just let me know. I'm going to talk about my client, Justine. She's a physical therapist and she is in Colorado. She helps, she's in the women's health. So she helps moms to be and postpartum moms of all various times following birth. And when she first came to me, she was thinking of closing her business, which was a big deal. She'd been in business many years, was a multiple six-figure earner, had a wait list. She was burnt out and she was tired. And so what we did was refine this whole system, and we did some teamwork because she has staff, a front office staff, and physical therapists. So we restructured her team. There was some mindset and nervous system work we had to do. I actually referred her to some wellness practitioners because she needed help with her hormones to help sleep at night. We also worked on mindset and nervous system to help sleep at night. So we did a lot of cleanup work, but the result of that was she didn't have to close down the business that she actually loved working in. And now she's even making more money. She has restructured her team, so it's more simple. So she's actually way more profitable. And here's the best part, she brought in an online world and she sold out. She had her first launch. She was hoping for 14 people in her first launch and she got 17. She's done multiple launches and exceeded her goals. So now she has a system of, she still has a wait list in her clinic and she's just brought on another physical therapist and she's able to earn money online. So she is a great story that I love to tell because it just shows you what's possible. You don't have to, if you're feeling tired, you don't have to leave the thing that you love. Often just making small tweaks and all these steps lead to big changes. Okay, so for today, we're going to recap here. Here are the 5 steps that you need for your 6-figure workshop strategy. Number 1, you need that popular topic. You can use AI to help. Number 2, you need to fill that workshop. You got to start marketing sooner rather than later. You can use AI for the messaging to help. You want to be specific here. Talk to one person each message. You want to work on your sequence that shows that you're the expert, that you're make it memorable, and plant the seeds to your next offer. Number 4, you do want to have a call to action at the end. And number 5, you want to follow up with people. So let me know if there's any questions on any of those steps now that you're live. And when you do this, you can have a simplified business that you love with time for your own wellness practices. And you can, I have many clients that hit 10K months and beyond. That's not mentioned here. So you can look at my website. You can look on my podcast. Just recently, my client Kelly, she's here in San Diego. She is helps people through, she's more of a life guide, she calls herself, and she helps people through stuck points in their lives. She just hit a 15K month. Her husband helps some. She brought in 13,000 of those dollars just this month. And when she started working with me, she was at 6-7K months. So you can have hell yes clients and live the life that you want. I really am living my dream life, and you can too. And that's why I invite you to work with me one-to-one in Awaken. It's a 6-month one-to-one program where we not only will build your workshop strategy together individually, but we'll go over consultations, we'll build out that offer, we'll work on mindset and your schedule. So, just like Justine, if you're feeling overworked and tired, you can spend more time with family, you can be more present with family. We'll do all that. Your next step would be to book a consultation with me. So this is perfect if you are looking to hit your first 6 figures online. If you feel short on time, all you need is 1 to 2 hours a week to make a big impact in both your own personal business, as well as I know you got into the wellness field to help more people, because when you're making more money, the good thing is you're helping more people. So they go hand in hand. There's no need to be overwhelmed and stressed out in your business anymore. You can work with me week to week. I do 350 calls a month, and you also get access to me via Slack. And when you come into my world, you get access to, I bring in expert speakers, like just next week, I'm bringing in a lawyer that specializes in wellness entrepreneurs online and in person. So you can make sure you have the necessary contracts in place. You know, if you are ready to do ads, I have a Facebook ad specialist. So I bring in guest speakers. You have access to those calls. And I do bring my one-to-one people together in a community. So you have access to that. I do bonus things like you're going to hear the bonus offer today for you. And plus you get, not only do you have the ability to message me being like, I'm teaching my first workshop and I'm really freaked out, I can help you with mindset, but you can submit content to me and I'll look over it. Like you can submit your workshop registration page to me and I'll give you feedback in it in real time. And that's not offered in a lot of programs. I feel like it's really missing, but it can be the key to changing everything, of both getting more workshop signups and then having more conversions. So here are some module examples that are in my program. We create that ethical high ticket wellness offer, one that you're excited about and people know that it solves a specific problem that they have. I create the client demand, you get the client demand blueprint, which is one of the first lessons. So within 30 days, you have your system of bringing in clients. You know how to run consults and convert them. You get this 6-figure lead generation workshop program. I have it broken down for you. Plus, you know how to create a 100K online program as well. So this is some examples of what is in the back end. So for example, in the ethical high ticket offer, you learn about the 5 Ps. So we go over your person. So again, if you're broad, we speak to that. If you want to go more narrow, we speak to that more narrow niche. How to position yourself in the marketplace, how to price it, how long should it be, what is the result that you should offer. We go over all of that and more. So these modules complement the one-to-one sessions that we do. The creating clients on demand, it will show you how to have a reliable system so you know exactly when you show up to your business each day and sit down to work, that what you're doing will make impact. It'll be the most efficient use of your time so you can start signing clients in the first 30 days of working with me. I also teach you how to get higher converting consultations. So often I have people coming to me either not offering consultations or they're quick with their consultations. We work with the steps on how to set up your consultations so you feel like you're giving value, you're helping people, and you're getting more yeses. That online wellness program, I go over how to create that online program when you want to move from one-to-one to that one-to-many model. I tell you the skills that are needed to move to one-to-many, and we start to strategize moving the one-to-many model. So you can do on-demand programs, memberships, small group type programs. I have clients that do all of that type of work. You are so welcome. Let's see, what was the one-liner? Oh, the one-liner Julie used was if you want to work with me more, I have a VIP one-to-one program. That's what she calls her one-to-one program. She says, I have a VIP one-to-one program, just book your consultation. That's it. Okay, and then you guys have gotten a taste of the 6-figure lead generation workshop. So I break that down. I also give an example of a registration page, what to put in a registration page, and I do give feedback on that. Some extra modules that are in there that my clients love, because I have many clients that are teaching classes like yoga classes, Pilates classes, workshops. How do you seed your offer without selling in those classes and get clients from your classes? Again, You're in a unique position in the wellness industry to get paid to market. Utilize your classes. I also have a lot of clients that have brick and mortar and want to move online. How do you start to transfer from in-person services to online services? So I have modules that work you from brick and mortar to online transition, because that's what I specialize in. That's what I did myself. I still have some brick and mortar people coming now because I love to work with them. But the benefit is I get to choose my schedule. I choose how many people work with me in my brick and mortar, because that's not where I'm getting my revenue. I get my revenue like 99%, it's all online. I only work with a select number of people that I love to work with in my office. So I teach you how to transition from being 100% in person to being whatever ratio you want. I have some people that, like Justine, she loves working in her office, but she wants the flexibility to travel more and earn more revenue out of one-to-one. But so she's more of an 80-20% split, and she might stay there for a long time, 80% being in person, 20% being online. You get to call the shots. I help you build it. And then how to sell without selling. So all of these we specifically go over together. So here's a special bonus for those of you attending live and also on the replay, is that towards the end of the summer, I haven't picked out the exact date yet. It's going to be in August sometime. I'm going to do the social media content mastery challenge, because I know so many people really get stuck in their messaging or how to show up on social media and actually get clients from them. Like Marie, I have many clients I've signed from Instagram. So I know how to teach you to do that, and it really complements the workshop strategy. So I'm going to go over in my, one-to-one community. I'm going to put you guys together so you get to interact and support each other. I'm going to give you daily prompts, how to create reels that convert, how to write captions, how to write messages, how to get more views. So any time that you're spent on social media is impactful for getting clients, booking consults, and converting that into your high ticket offer, whether it be a one-to-one model or a one-to-many. And this is only if you book and decide to enroll to work with me one-to-one by Friday, July 26th. So you want to make sure you book your consult now, because my schedule does fill up quickly. In fact, if you're not able to find a spot that gives you enough time to both get the consult and enroll by the 26th, just message me. You can DM me now, or you can just email me and be like, Allison, I can't find a spot, and I'll personally work to get you in. So my schedule does fill up quickly, so just make sure to book the consult. And again, there's the link to book the consult. You can do that right now. Okay, so common questions I have is, will I get my return? I've tried programs in the past. I'm really fearful about investing. I have a lot of people that are also fearful investing for two reasons. Number one, they've tried programs in the past and it hasn't quite worked for them. Or number two, they're just starting, and working with me feels like a big investment. So my program is for 6 months. It's $5,500 if you do pay in full. I also offer a monthly payment plan. So you pay 6 payments of $1,000. And many people, if you're the way I set their high ticket wellness offer up is, if you sign one client, you make your money back and more. And that's very doable. So that's how you ensure that you'll get my return. Also, I know that working in other programs, those programs are offer super valuable and informational packed. Nothing has gone wrong with the program, and nothing has gone wrong with you. It often just means you need individualized help making the information that you did learn work for you. So I use those programs as a stepping stones to ensure that when you work with me, you see progress. So I have specific progress trackers. For example, each call that you're on with me, I have questions that I ask to ensure that you're getting progress and seeing wins. Also, I send out a monthly progress tracker, which takes less than 5 minutes to fill out, where I know where you are. So I always have my finger, because we're working one-to-one individually on the pulse of your business, where I have certain milestones that I know you'll hit that lead to consults. So for example, which leads to higher revenue months. Like, are you starting to get more people inquire about your service? Are you starting to get more people booking consult calls? Are you getting more conversion in your consult calls? I have certain markers of progress that I know that your social media or your emails are starting to work, that are precursors to getting clients. So I'm always looking for those things. So if you feel like you're not progressing, I will know what to work on and I will know how to fix it. So my people always see progress. Kim says, I don't have a brick and mortar biz to transition. I'm nervous because I've never taught before. Yeah, Kim, I have many people that don't have brick and mortar businesses that are 100% online. Like Julie was 100% online. Marie is going online. So I have another client, she is just starting out. And so I really help you to develop that confidence. If you do have questions about it, just book your consult and we can talk more about it. And I'll tell you if you're not a right fit or not ready. I'll never make you feel pressured to work with me now. We'll work through it together to make sure that you are a right fit and it is appropriate for you. So you can just book the consult to find that out. That's a perfect question. If you guys have more questions, just let me know. So how much time will this take? Literally, all you need to do is show up to the one-to-one calls, which are 3 a month for 50 minutes. So that's an hour a week right there and an hour a week to implement. That's it. I point you to the videos that you can watch that'll be most impactful for you. I have some people that do like to watch the videos. They're in Kajabi, like while they're getting ready and such. But you don't have to do that. So I will make sure that the time is most efficient for you. You're very welcome. So I mean, my whole passion, because I've been burnout, I've worked the 7 days a week, teaching yoga classes in the morning, yoga classes at night, where I've been burnt out. And so my whole goal for you is to have an ideal schedule that allows time for family and time for your own wellness practices. And so, as I mentioned before, if you've invested in other programs, I make sure that you are seeing progress and that those programs are not a waste. We bring in the most relevant and important information that works for you, and then we put gas to it. We put fire to it, and then we bring in some of these other strategies that help you to go faster. Okay, so any other questions that you might have today for me? Spend a couple minutes here. I know we are over time, but if you have more questions, I'm happy to stay here. The replay will be sent out in a few hours. So just, I have to wait for Zoom to process the recording and then I'll send out the replay. Any other questions? If we don't have questions today, we'll say goodbye for now, and I'll see those of you on the consult, in the program, or in the next workshop or webinar. Yeah, just to clarify, go for it, Debbie. Oh, wait. I'm checking my recording. I had a freaked out moment right then that I forgot to record, but I didn't. It's recording. Okay. Oh, good, Kim. You booked your consultation. I am so glad. I look forward to talking with you in person. Yay. I'm so excited. That's okay, Debbie. Don't rush. I'm here for you. Yeah, if you can't find a date that works for you for July, just send me an email. I'm gonna put it in the chat right now, and I'll personally schedule you. I'll get you in. Ignite Your Wellness. Just send me an email there, and and also send me some dates and times that work for you, and I'll look at my schedule and I'll get you in. So you can, for those of you watching the replay, you can just email me at Allison, ALISON, at igniteyourwellness.com, igniteyourwellness.com. Perfect, Debbie. I'm looking forward to it. You guys have a wonderful day. It was so great having all of you here, and I look forward to working more with you. Bye for now. I did it Amy style. Bye for now.